Yo, what's up? It's Flows. We're back. So I think isolating myself for 4 months was a little too long. It was supposed to be longer. And I've learned a lot. I've realized a lot, and this is what I've learned. But just to refresh quickly, I did a little bit of a science experiment to see if completely secluding myself, isolating myself in nature, away from everything and everyone, would help me focus, would help me get more work done. And the short answer was not really. Um, so I'm gonna be on my 4 month mark in like a week or two, and then I'm hitting the hay. On to the next thing, next experiment. Still working on my master's degree. Um, so this is what I've taken away. Um, I think isolating myself for a time, a set time, was necessary. I think it was the first step of the recharge, if you will, the regrounding. But um, I think I stayed too long. There was a moment where I was ready to expand and start to tap into what really energizes me, not grounds me. And because I dedicated so much time already to be in a secluded, isolated place up front, it was hard to pivot in a timely manner. Um, so I was supposed to be here longer, so I was able to still pivot, get some time back, but in that process, I learned that isolation is important for me to feel grounded as someone who's neurodivergent, but I also get energized in different ways. So isolating and secluding is grounding for me, but not energizing. And I think what I realized is, and what I've learned is that um, to be productive, I need to be energized. But to get to that level of productivity and focus, I needed to ground myself. And, you know, I believe life is about breathing in, breathing out, coming inwards, coming outwards. And 4 months for me personally, as someone who's neurodivergent, um, I think was a little too long of isolation, if I'm being honest. So, as someone who is AuDHD, which is for me specifically, it's autism level 1. Currently, there's, I believe, 3 levels of autism. I'm level 1, but it's combined with ADHD. So, what that means for me is the way my brain works, it's how I operate as a human. And my brain thrives on stimulation, people energy. It's very important for me to have that extroverted sense, even though there's some social awkwardness and things in there. But it's also equally important for me to ground myself and to have those secluded, isolated moments just to re energize. You know, people talk about their social batteries. So I think an analogy I could use is that my batteries take a long time to recharge and they don't last long. But they're very strong. Like once it's on, it's amplified. But they go out quick and it takes a long time to recharge. I think that's the most clear way that I could explain the brain stimulation and what I need to come back. But 4 months alone, isolated, although this is a beautiful place, very peaceful, very grounding, I think I overdid the time. So my batteries were charged, but instead of being able to expend and use my batteries, staying in the isolation and continuing to charge, it's like keeping your phone on the charger after it's already fully charged. It's eventually going to wear out the battery health. Um, so that's kind of like what feels like had happened because I stayed here for this long. It's okay, I was fully charged, but instead of unplugging and then using that energy, I uh, I was still plugged in, charging, and it ended up doing more. We could use the word harm. We could use the word created an imbalance, which took away from my productivity and focus while still trying to complete my master's degree, which I'm still working on. I'm still completing tasks. I'm still going through it. Um, and I'll be talking soon about what's next and how I'm going to keep continuing to working towards that goal. So one thing I don't want to do is speak on like isolation as a bad thing or being secluded or taking time to yourself to recharge and recalibrate is a bad thing. I think it was a very necessary step. I think it was very important, especially for someone who's neurodivergent who needs that time, that space, just to reflect, just to reground. Um, but again, the piece there is that the time element of it. There's a lot of different dimensions. There's a lot of different variables of things that go into other things. So the time element, I think, was the big learning piece. And it's not to say don't ever isolate and seclude yourself. You're never gonna go anywhere. I think the piece that I really learned was the time part of it. Okay, do it for the time that you need, but know that your battery is going to be charging. You're going to need that mental or that brain stimulation. You're going to want to exert all the energy that you spent all that time charging. So if I could piece everything down to one specific learning, is not to say that isolation isn't necessary or seclusion or taking time to yourself isn't necessary, because it's a huge step. um, but the timing of it is something that I guess personally I could say I'm very sensitive to, and that I've learned and realized that I need to be more mindful of in the future when I do need to recharge my batteries so that I can continue and expend outward positive energy, productive energy, and focus. Which for me is really being around people, sharing energy, sharing love, sharing laughter, sharing moments with people. I think that's very important for who I am, and maybe for other neurodivergents as well. So, what about you? Have there been moments where you overstayed in your isolation or secluded moments where it started to feel like it was taking away from you rather than building you up? Please, let's share, let's build community. Like, comment, subscribe, let's talk, let's build a safe space and talk about these things. So, it's Flows. I'm out for now, but I'll see you guys soon.